excited as me?
Yes.
You've got to see my face first. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Rowena. I'm one of the founders of the Max Fitness Business College internationally. The only reason that we're here, all of us are here today, is to celebrate a professional group of people who have chosen a career that they love and they're going to positively change the health and fitness of the world. Is that exciting? For me, that is really exciting. For those of you who are here for your family and friends, there's two things that need to happen. I think G's already shared with you. You need to get a really sore throat and really sore hands. Because when your family or friend person walks down this red carpet, you need to make a lot of noise. Yes? However, there are some people who are graduating today who don't have the privilege because their family's not here today, or they don't have the support that you are giving your family and friends. So if you could please clap really loudly for everybody, that would be fantastic. As a education provider, I would really love to share with you the purpose of why Max is here. Our world right now, as I've just shared with our graduates, is the basis of disease. It's full of coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, depression, obesity, and people don't feel so comfortable when they wake up in the morning. Because they don't have a career that they love and they're not doing what they love to do with their lives. And the only purpose that Max exists is to make sure that we can create fitness professionals to make sure that the world is healthy, fit and strong. So what a great reason to be here today, yes? Yes. To make sure that you are feeling amazing, one of the best things I've ever thought, to feel amazing is to sing. Don't you think? Yes! So, for those of you that have ever sung in a hairbrush, is there anybody that's ever picked up a hairbrush and sung into your hairbrush? Anybody? Still do. How many of you have sung in the shower? What about in the car? You sing along to the songs in the car? Out loud? Yes. So, what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that we are the best singers in the world, because we are. And the goal of Max is to positively change the health and fitness of the world, one person at a time, from the inside to the outside, and to raise the professional standards of the fitness profession. We're also aiming to change the names of the days of the week. Just people to come and sit down here, please. Just a couple of people get up and move and come down here. That'd be lovely. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Zoe. These kids are never shy, are they? They're just kids sing really loud too, by the way. One of the other challenges we have is, I believe, the names of the days of the week, because tomorrow is the big challenge day, isn't it? What happens tomorrow? Monday. People get Monday-itis. Your fitness professionals in the room will tell you that itis means inflammation of. So people have inflammation of Monday tomorrow. What we're aiming to do is change the names of the days of the week so that there is no challenge with Monday and every day is amazing. So, you ready to sing? I'll start for you so you get the general idea. You'll have heard the tune before. It goes like this. May your Mondays be magical. May your Tuesdays be terrific. May your Wednesdays be very well. Got a right wow with everybody. May your Thursdays be thankful. May your Fridays be a fun day. May your Saturdays be super. May your Sundays be sparkly. Because you choose them to be. It's the easy song. For the school teachers in the room, super used to be spelt with the U. It's now spelt with at least 7 O's. So super day. Yes? You ready to sing for? 4, 3, 2, 1, into your hairbrush. May your Mondays be magical. May your Tuesdays be terrific. May your Wednesdays be very well. May your Thursdays be thankful. May your Fridays be a fun day. May your Saturdays be super. May your Sundays be sparkly. Because you choose them to be. Max Brisbane graduates for 2013. One of the questions I always ask, for those of you who haven't quite experienced the Max way yet, how many of you guys, when you first came to the college or first came in contact with somebody from Max, you said, I think they're on drugs there? Oh, yeah. How many of you guys have thought, since they've come back from a night or two or day at the college, you thought, I think they're on drugs there? If I asked everybody in the room today to pick your number one goal, we would all have different goals, but ultimately we all have a goal to be happy, yes? And if the world was a happier place, then things would be a little bit different. So what I'm asking you to do today is please be the happiest person in the world for these guys today, because we're so incredibly proud of you. Two of the happiest people in my world. I've never seen either of them have a bad day, neither of you guys, because every time I ask, how are you, there's this is my favourite, I'm dandy, Rowie. Or how about this one, I'm mantastic, Rowie. These are the happiest people I know. Please meet your MCs for the afternoon. The G-Spot, because he's very hard to find. And
How exciting. And to kick things off, we're going to do something that's very, very special to me, the Max team, and is very special at graduations. Who here has heard of the Mexican wave? I have. The Mexican wave? Well, the Mexican wave is about 3 million times better than that, right? And this is how it happens. So Ben and I, up here towards the front, we're going to pow the front. Pow. These Mexicans have just finished, haven't they? So we're going to pow our just finished Mexicans, and then, like an eruption through the room, we're going to jump up, jump out. A flow effect is going to occur through this part of the room. We're going to jump up, jump up, jump up. And what happens when we get hit, Ben? Remember what happens?
I believe that we're going to go power.
We're going to power them again? Yeah. Yes. So we power again, and we go up again, all the way back around. Yeah? You got me?
Yeah.
Now, something that you need to understand. The more energetic, excited, positive you are, it means to our graduates, that's how proud of them you are. So the more passion you give reflects to our graduates, that's how proud you are. Are you ready, Ben?
Yes, great.
Are you excited? So am I. Are you going to get ready for the power? Get ready for it. 3, 2, 1, power! Now, a 7.5 out of 10 to kick things off is okay. But do we want a 7.5 out of 10 for our graduates? No! What do we want? 11! Exactly, we want 11.6. That's what we want. So let's do it one more time. We've had a practice now. Let's get into it. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Pow! Thank you for being here this afternoon, and what makes graduation even more special is the family and friends that come and support our graduates. Ro and I chat often about graduation being our favourite day of the year, because I'm fortunate enough that I'm there in the beginning. When I get the phone call or the email from our graduates that may be a little bit nervous about having the career they love, or often don't particularly love the job that they're in, and it takes a lot of courage, a lot of heart, a lot of support from family to make these graduations happen. Because this is the beginning of the journey of their career and the ending of a lot of what we have to educate them through the program. Well, not really, because a lot of these guys will follow on and do their advanced diploma. But without your help and your support, I've heard it many times today, a lot of our graduates wouldn't be here. So let's give it up for you.
Yay!
Yes, thank you, team. And as you know, the quality of life is determined by the the quality of people in your life. It's one of my favourite quotes. And our guys are all happy people, and they're out there making other people very happy now, having a better quality of life through health and fitness, which is absolutely fantastic. G is what I call the bouncer. We make sure the right people get in the classroom, and then I get to look after the people while they're there, so then they go out and do what they need to do to positively change the health and fitness of the world. We wouldn't be here either if it wasn't for a couple of very special people. Is that right, Greg?
That is spot on, Ben. Thanks for bringing that up.
That's correct. I'd like to introduce you. You already know her. She's a very good singer. She has a really cool little song that she sung earlier. I sure dug it. Thank you. Over the road. Oh, yeah. Woo!
How many of you have ever thought to yourself, I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough? You don't have to answer to me, it's just a general question. I certainly did. When I came into this profession, I was told that I'd never be successful because I was a woman, I had blonde hair, I didn't have a tertiary education, and who is ever successful in the fitness profession anyway? It's just a casual part-time job until a real job comes along, which is what my parents said to me. It was interesting because I went to a private boarding school. My father wanted me to be a lawyer, and I said, Dad, I'm going to become an aerobic instructor. Wasn't very IB. As I'm sure some of you have thought, I wish my child would do this. I'm very privileged to have been part of a profession all of my life. I think I'm one of the only people in this room that I've never had a job that I've hated. I've always done what I've loved, and it's always been in the fitness profession. So the reason Max exists, and I would love again for you to hear this directly from me, is unlike any other university, college, school or education provider in the world, where normally you would enrol, you would study, you would hopefully qualify, you would graduate, and you'd go out into your profession, whether it's law or medicine or landscape gardening or carpentry. You do something in your profession because that's what you studied for. Well, having spent most of my life in top-end leadership and management positions in the fitness profession, what I found is that's not what happened in our profession. People came and studied to get out of a job that they hated, and they ended up back in the lousy, stinking job they hated, and hated it even more, because they could see what was possible, but they didn't have the skills that they needed. So Max is, and you see it's a very small group, it's an elite SAS group of people here. The purpose for Max is to make sure that the education is top end from a fitness perspective. From a business perspective, I've seen too many people leave our profession because they didn't have the business skills to be successful and profitable long term. And it doesn't matter how many people you're helping. If you're not making any money, you can't keep helping them. So you have to have the business skills. But ultimately, the challenge I found was that after people qualified from any education, including me with my Year 10 education, is we didn't have any backup support afterwards. The reason I'm sharing this with you today is for the very first time in Brisbane, we have a graduate for our advanced diploma program. Because for every enrolment at Max, everybody now who enrolls at Max, I don't give them a choice to fail. They have to succeed. It's a top-end fitness business diploma specialised to fitness. So all the business skills are specialised to fitness. But for 12 months after you have completed the program, that's from today forward, you have the opportunity to have one-on-one career and business mentoring with a fitness business coach. So if you need help, the support is there for a full 12 months. Included in that is an advanced diploma in business, not fitness, business, to make sure that you have the skills to be successful in your career. And then on top of that, this is a very important reminder, you have a lifetime education. So unlike any other education provider where you finish your degree or you finish your diploma and you can't go back again, for Max, these guys can come back for the rest of their lives and there's no extra cost. They can just come back and study. The important part of what I'm about to share with you is that we have our very first in Brisbane advanced diploma student. Please make welcome. She's graduating today from her fitness business diploma and her advanced diploma. Elisa, please. requires filling. Lisa comes part of a very special duo. And when her other half enrolled at Max, there was no advanced diploma. However, what we really believe at Max is that extra mile attitude and extra mile performance should be congratulated and should be awarded. So we are gifting you your advanced diploma because you deserve it. He has completed everything required to get his advanced diploma. He just didn't pay for it. So we're going to give it to him as a gift. Please make welcome our second advanced diploma.
He's not going to get hat hair either.
His head's too big that way.
One size fits most.
Yeah, Paulie.
Please tell your story. It's amazing.
Blue looks good on him, don't you think? Okay. Thank you guys so much for this. This is as a big shock to both of us. Sav has some questions to answer when I talk to him on Skype next. Where to even start? 2 years ago, thank you. 2 years ago I sat in the audience where you guys are now and watched Paul graduate from his diploma program. And I was like, oh, there are other people out there like me, that's great. I thought I was the only one. I had been working in the fitness industry at the time. I was unhappy. I was managing a club where I was like, can I ring these people that are paying for this gym membership? Because they're not coming to see if they're okay and what we can do to get them in the door, to get them moving again, get them feeling great. And my manager said no because they might cancel their membership. And I was like, there's got to be more to what we do than that. I was in a bit of an interesting place where I thought the fitness profession was all about bums and guns and boots. I was suffering from depression. I had an eating disorder, trying to fit into the box that I thought was the fitness profession. Come to Max and went, oh, this is really nice. I'm really glad I didn't give up. I was about to because I was sick of it. So 2 years later, here we stand as advanced diploma graduates. Do your advanced diploma. Just saying. Full credit to Sav, Steve Barry. I know he can't be with us today, but he has just been an absolute lifeline. Thank you, Max, so much for the opportunities that you've given us to now move forward. We're going through the process at the moment to fully purchase the 100% of our business, Freedom Health and Fitness down in Beaudesert. To get us started, we had been in vendor finance into it, but we're now looking to own it 100% outright. So that's very exciting. We have 13 awesome superstars playing with us every day. We've got Jeffrey, who's with us today. Hanging in the Jeff. And our health club, which could probably be mistaken for a really giant personal training studio, is turning over between 150 and 200 sessions a week down there helping the folks in Beaudesert. So yeah, it's gone so cool. Thank you everyone. Thank you to my family. Coming up, Jeffrey's family as well. We really appreciate your support and yeah, let's go and keep kicking butt. Awesome.
Paul, can you please share your story because it's quite amazing.
My story is I used to be an interstate truck driver, had my own
transport company and I was running around. I was quite a heavy fella. I weighed in just under 160 kilos and got sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I started to make a bit of a difference and went about it all wrong. Went on the shake diets and all that. I did get skinny. I did get results in the effect that I lost weight, but I didn't lose the right weight. And I was in a bit of a grey area in life as to what I'm going to do and how I'm going to structure my life. But I went to a careers expo. It was interesting. We were standing in line at this careers expo in town. The guy behind me sort of looking around, and I was looking around. And I caught eyes with him, and he looked at me and said, "It's like there's a lot of people pissed off in their job, isn't there?" So fair enough. So I'm walking around the expo, and I got to chat to this fine gentleman over here, G-Spot. And he invited me to sit down on the chair.
It's an important one.
The important chair. Had a bit of a chat, told him where I was at in life, and he invited me to come and have a look at Max. Went and had a look, and I was lucky enough to be accepted into Max. And from there, I had probably a 4 to 6 month break after I finished in college studies. And then after I finished I had my break and my downtime, so to speak, I got back into it, finished all my studies. It was only maybe like 3 or 4 months after I totally finished it, I had part-time work, and then I threw my crappy job away to a real job. Well, it's not even a job anymore, it's just playing, but got helping the folks and made a lifestyle out of it. Then the place that I started work at is where I met Lisa, because she was just finishing up there.
Woohoo!
She was living in Canberra, and we got talking that and found we had a lot of common interests, and here we are today.
You tinkling huge. He's keeping his inside. Looks like an entrance.
Oh, what's this one? G?
It's a very important one, Ben.
Yes.
Mastery.
It is.
Mastery. Well, Max is the leader in fitness education and professionalism. And as we say, it's hard to get into Max because you've got to get through this fine young mammal. And he's very high standards, as you guys have become aware. And then through the program, we challenge our students. For the people who want to go to the top tier, the challenge, we have an award called the Mastery Award. So I'll just take you through what you have to do to achieve the Mastery Award. The Mastery Award, first of all, you have to get past this young mammal. Then from there, you have to attend every session in order, you cannot miss one. You have to pass every mission or challenge that we give our students. First time, don't get a second chance. Then, once you've finished everything, you have to finish all assignments. That includes a fitness business plan you have to put together. It includes presenting your plan in a short format called the Venture Capitalist Chat. You've got to try and get money from the board, which is great fun. You have to get through that first time. All the practical missions, have all that done. And then at the end of session 94, which is all the education sessions, you then have to hand in everything and have that passed, first go. And not only that, the final hurdle is to get through your final practical evaluation where you train one of the coaches. In Brisbane, generally that's myself. And the standard there very high, you have to get through that first time as well. We make that very challenging, and not just challenging as far as you have to get everything perfect, or just right as far as where we set the bar, which is a very high bar, including presentation pressures on your own paperwork. I have to feel that I've had a great session that I would get even huger from, and that's hard. Very difficult for me. And I actually like training myself. So for someone to be able to train me to the ability where I go, that's the kind of session that I would pay for, I would invest in when I know I can train myself solidly, that's a big call. Not only that, in this Mastery Award, this is the first Mastery Award stands. We brought the Mastery in, and then we decided to take it up a notch. So this is the first Mastery. No, mastery. She's gone up a level. And at the end of this session, was, I went through the session. It was a great session, top notch. At the end of it, I said, I'm going to make sure this person really earns this. And, oh, geez, I asked them some great questions. I said, look, can you tell me about the core, you know, what's this core that everyone talks about? And they had to, I said, can you show me on the anatomy chart here? And they had to explain all the technical stuff. And I said, look, my mum's got high blood pressure, she's got arthritis. If you were to train her, how would you change things? So I didn't ask the 3 standard questions, I asked 8. Watch them sweat. Which was fun, because obviously you need to earn something like the mastery, especially the Mastery Award. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to our first Mastery Award and graduate for today, Nicola. But just before I do that, I'm going to hand you over to my esteemed colleague G-Man, because that's what she had to do to get out. But what she's been doing since she's left, now that's just a whole nother level. So G.
And it is exciting because for us to see a mastery, obviously from our perspective, we have high hopes. The next part of that is delivering on that hope. And that's what Nicola's done. From day one, she's gone out there, and what I respect most about Nicola, she doesn't just analyse what she could do better, but she analyses what she's doing well. And it always is seeking constant and never-ending improvement, which is like the backbone of our college. So Nicola's got 38 sessions per strong now. She had over 20 sessions per strong, is our version of per week. She had over 20 sessions per strong within a month of leaving the college, and the reason she's grown so quickly within the profession is because obviously she cares about all of her clients and wants to help them get to their constant and never-ending improvement stage, but like I said, is seeking excellence. So Nicola, come and receive excellence.
I'm going to say two things.
Oh, not me.
I asked these graduates when we were downstairs before we put them upstairs. There's 3 things that happen after today. Some people leave here and they lower the standards of the college. It's just in human nature that happens. Some people reach the standards of Max and other people raise them. Yesterday we walked into the studio where Nicola works and she was dressed immaculately. She looks spectacular. She has this huge smile on her face, and the people that she was training really wanted to be there. So for me it was a real wow experience, and I just wanted to share that with you in public. It was a real wow.
Wow, if you said to me a year ago that I would be standing here in front of you all accepting this when I was a public servant, I hear the government, and I'm accepting a double diploma from the most exclusive fitness business college in the world, and I help people feel fitter and stronger and healthier and happier about themselves every day, I would say you are crazy. But here I am. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my friend, my mentor, my coach, Cleo Brown. You may
Thank you, Cleo.
And Olympia Body Transformation Sanctuary, of course. One of the non-negotiables of Olympia is that it only accepts people from Max. And if you have a look at the calibre of graduates that we have here, you can understand why. Where else in the world can you walk in and you have such a positive vibe, the excitement and professionalism that you do like here? You get that at Olympia, but why? It's because it only accepts people from Max. So thank you for providing the foundation for my future career in fitness, where I get to get up and love what I do every day and play with my friends in the best studio in the world and help people feel better about themselves, and I go home with an even bigger smile on my face. So thank you.
best, so that doesn't exist here. And we're going to kick off with an exciting bang to kick off our graduates. This lady, when I first had her acceptance interview, sometimes I get this feeling, this special feeling. I think, wow, that person is going to be amazing. And Dandy, Amandy Gatfield has not disappointed. Just within the last couple of strong, she's gone out, opened her own personal training studio, Replenish Your Life. I want her to tell us all about it. Welcome, Dandy, Amandy Gatfield.
Her ribbon came in. That's why we pinned them on you. You need 2 pins.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. It's amazing to have such good-looking people in the room supporting all of us here. So, again, a year ago, I started at Max. I sat my very first day in September last year with Benny, and the moment I walked in, I thought, wow, this is just going to change my life. So I was very, very thankful to get past the bouncer and to be accepted into my small little class, which was phenomenal. And I came from a background of designing and selling bathrooms, so I was in love with toilets, and it was fun for a while, but I moved to Australia from New Zealand, and I was doing that here. I really didn't have a passion for designing bathrooms anymore, and nobody that I worked with was fun. They didn't think I was funny, and I thought I was funny, but no, right? But they were boring, and life was just dull, and it started affecting the way that I saw myself as a person and my family and everything. And anyway, I was lifting a toilet one day, and I hurt my back, and unfortunately I had an injury for a very long time, and part-time I had my own Zumba fitness business, and I love doing that, and it's a passion I've had for a long time, teaching group fitness. So unfortunately for 6 weeks I was unable to teach my classes, and I'm very thankful to have some of my students here with me today. But they weren't that cool with me teaching for a while, and so I had to get some substitutes. And you know, they were saying, when are you going to be back? And we don't like this without you. And it was at that point that I realised that if somebody as young as me can have challenges with their health and fitness through a simple injury and affect people like that, that I had to make that a full-time profession for me. So that was when I started looking for somewhere that I knew I would be able to do forever. And so that's when I found Max. And so I got through the course, and that was very exciting, and I was very, very lucky to be given an opportunity by Benny and by G and by Jeannie at their beautiful studio in Milton called Helpers. And so I played there for a while and had some awesome clients there. And then just 1 week ago, I've opened my own studio called Replenish Your Life. I know, thank you. And I'm very lucky to have some of my clients here today. So in 1 week, I've got 8 sessions and 3 gift sessions booked for next week. And it's very exciting to be able to get up every day, go out to my garage and train people and just go and play and make people fit, healthy and strong. So thank you, Max, for giving me that opportunity, and I'll be sure to raise the standards.
Danny!
Our next fine individual that we have graduating this evening is tall, and his knowledge base is about, I think, most of his height.
Yes.
The guy's a perfectionist. His knowledge base, his questions that he'd asked through the program were at a level that I wouldn't even think of, so he taught me a lot, because I'd have to go and research and come back to him with answers. And I want to introduce you to my good friend who's at Genesis. He's doing around 30 sessions each strong now, helping 18 to 20 people get healthy, fit and strong. Phil?
Yay, Phil!
Very nice. Give the box.
Someone give him his 6 inches, will you?
I actually didn't have to go through G to get into Max.
I was sleeping.
I had to go through his New Zealand counterpart, which is Tommy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Who's equally as tough. And Tommy was fantastic, and we had multiple conversations on the phone because he was in Auckland and I was in Christchurch, and I started at-home learning. So it was distance learning. And then I thought, blow this is just taking too long. I can't do it this way. I need to make a move to do this full time. So I've got options. I've got Auckland, I've got Brisbane. I've only got 2. So I knew Melbourne was starting up, but I didn't really want to live there. But anyway, at the time I just finished a degree and had wonderful wife and a little boy. And then we had one on the way, and it was like, well, what are we going to do? We can go to Auckland, and my parents lived 3 hours south, Rotorua, but that wasn't going to probably work. So Tanya has parents who live in Brisbane and Bray Park, so we're like, well, that's a good option because I'm sure they'd love to have 2 grandboys running around. And I think they enjoy it from time to time, but there's moments where they're a bit of a noisy rowdy bunch. And I moved straight to there and straight to Bray Park and took the family, shipped everything off. Our house was being rented out and came straight over here. And then wound up in Brisbane, met Huge and G, and was able to come through the door without G stopping me. But they were just fantastic, and I never ever thought that this is where I'd be. I spent 10 years of my life going from doing all sorts of random stuff, from aerial technician to development relief agency because of the earthquake in Christchurch, to working at a camp, to doing coaching. It was just, I've done a myriad of stuff. But I never thought that I would be here in this moment and then think when I finish Max that I would end up with the amount of clients that I have and the amount of sessions I'm doing and changing the lives of the people I've changed. And it's not just physically. I find a lot of them come to me and say they mentally feel different. They mentally, their lives are better, they're getting things together. And I'm just so thrilled, and I'm just going to keep doing this, and I want to start my own business. I'm in the process of that, and I've got Luke Archer, who came through Max, who's mentoring me, and that's just fantastic to have him there. So, sort of the people I sort of want to thank is obviously Alistair and Margaret, that's Tanya's mum and dad.
Thanks, Mum and Dad.
It's been such a blessing to have them take us in, and obviously my brother and sister-in-law Joel and Lydia, who are always fun to have around. Obviously my wife and my 2 boys, Boaz and Eliezer, and my sister and her husband are here today, and with their 2 kids, and they live south of us by about an hour and a half, so it's good to have them.
Wow.
Some other friends here. Katie and Anthony, thank you very much. And I'm just thrilled. I can't wait to get out there and start doing more, but that's what I went. So thanks, Rory, Kerry, G. Thank you very much.
Disciplined, committed, driven, excited, passionate. There are all words that come to mind when I think of the next young fellow. But I need to warn you, because you're about to enter the Jeffmosphere. Feel the change.
Oh, so good.
The Jeffmosphere.
day one when I came to Max, I met G, and it was actually a Saturday, and my mum took me to the college.
Thanks, Mum.
Thanks, Mum. Thank you. We found it eventually. Yeah, we went there and we were talking and we were talking. Anyway, I got accepted, and college, the next round started on Monday. So I was going from full-time on Friday to not knowing what I wanted to do to having exactly where I wanted to go and what I wanted to be on the Monday.
Wow.
So over one weekend, where you might go clubbing, you might go to schoolies and things like that, I've turned my life around in a U-turn. Just like that. So, I started in high school, I got school captain, luckily enough. I don't know why.
Oh my God.
And I was quite like a jock in high school, you know, like, I was really good at sports and I was really friendly. I'd get kicked out of class a lot for talking. Yeah, even when I was school captain. And I was very good at sports, and I decided I wanted to be an athlete, and I was quite good at long jump. So I started long jumping, and it's pretty good, it's pretty fun. I started training with Sally Pearson down the Gold Coast, and went to nationals in Sydney, and hyperextended my knee. And I did my ACL ligament, which put me back. And this was before I'd come to Max, and I was a bit scared, a bit worried, because I didn't know where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do, because I was always good at sport. What else could I do? What else could I do? Once I done my knee, I was sitting there about 3 months later, and I had a straight knee cast on. I was sitting there in bed, and I thought to myself, I've peaked in high school. What am I going to do? So, peaked in high school. That was my turning point, I guess, where I thought, no, I've got to do something here. You're a school captain, mate, come on! So, got on to Max. These guys helped me out a lot. I'm now doing between 40 and 45 sessions a week. Yeah, thank you. Couldn't have done it without these two guys right here. They didn't peak in high school, they peaked after Max. Yeah, but they really supported me all the way through. Even after I finished, they were there for me. If I had any questions, and they still are now, so they're really great to work for.
Do your books!
Hey Jeff, share your story about where you come from.
Originally, so I was always good at sports, so I wanted to do sports, so I did, in grade 12, I did a school-based traineeship as a Cert 3 in fitness, and I went to a gym, and I went there, and you know, they had the real tight shirts showing off their biceps, and this is how you do the exercise. You can't lift as much if you can't grunt that loud. Had a few bad experiences there, and it wasn't really the way that I thought it was going to be. It's not the place, and the people weren't the people that I thought they'd be. And eventually I grew my wits about me, I left, and I came back with these guys. So these guys really are capital exclamation mark for my U-turn in life. Obviously my family as well, thank you to them. My Auntie Rose actually let me stay at her house for the whole time.
Auntie Rose.
So, thank you very much, guys. Thanks to Max. Thank you.
The Jeff Smith.
Excellent. Our next graduate tonight, when she started the program to the person she is now is just not just physically, but I guess mentally and also understand emotionally, because I've been fortunate to hear her story. She's someone who's coming to share with our students, and she's doing some wonderful things. She has her own business, and she's changing the lives of mums out there. She's a mum herself.
I'm going to get her up here to tell you her story. Hayley.
Go Hayley!
Can I just get Craig and my little girls up here with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Craig,
Yeah,
little girl.
Craig
Yeah, Craig.
So we're hearing a lot of inspiring stories about why we change our lives and why we find Max and what we do from there on in. And it was these two beautiful little ladies. Who less than 2 years ago had a mother who was 25 kilos overweight, battling from quite severe postnatal depression, and staring at 4 walls every day, just preparing meals for him when he got home, and
Good meals.
trying to stop them and scream. I didn't really know who or what I was meant to be. And when Sophie was 17 months, I sort of went, oh God, who was I before I was this thing? And before I was that, I used to move a lot. And I joined the Zumba club and started moving again, and I rediscovered my love for health and fitness. And I had a beautiful experience on the phone to my best friend who's here today. And I said, I want to help other women experience this. I'd managed to lose the 25 kilos. I'd shed the postnatal depression. I was like, how can I share this with the world? I want more women to experience what I've experienced. And she's like, well, why don't you do that? Why don't you do fitness and empower women that way? And I was like, okay, okay, I will. And it was about 3 o'clock the next morning. I filled out the application on the Max website, and at 9 o'clock that day, G rang me, and I'm like, oh, I've been waiting for you to call. He's like, really? And it all sort of snowballed from then. And I went in for my interview, and Craig came with me, which was pretty cool. And we smashed. I think we sat in that office for over 3 hours just talking. I had the full business plan laid out. I had everything ready to go. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. And Craig backed me all the way. We had to remortgage the house and everything in order for me to do this. And G gave me a gift session with Jeannie down here, and I landed on her lounge, and as I said, I'd lost the weight. I'd shed all these kilos. Physically, I was who I was supposed to be, but emotionally, I had a long way to go, and I think we spent 40 minutes sitting on that lounge, just wow, bawling my eyes out. Every day from there on out. I have become stronger, and I have become more empowered. 2 weeks into my Max studies, I suppose I'd opened my studio, and I was trying to do both at the same time, as well as mothering through these two into daycare. But we've come through it all. 12 months later, we've got 2 beautiful little girls, and not the woman that he married, some stranger who's fallen in love with all over again, which is nice. And a woman who's now in love with herself and sharing that with her children. And my vision for my world is to empower this generation to inspire the next. So we're going to say goodbye to generational obesity, and our children will grow to be strong, and they won't be hiding in their houses with their kids going, what is wrong? Why can't I do this?
Wow.
When people come in for their acceptance interviews, often they come for a different reason. And I remember this interview so clearly because I don't think I've ever come across somebody that was so passionate about being in the interview room to help other people out. that was, I remember we were talking about business, I just want to help people out. And then we talk about, so how? I just want to help people out. And it all come back to that, which for me was just so special, because at the end of the day, like Hayley just mentioned, that's why we're all here. So Nat is currently running her own business and helping people out, which is very exciting, and that's mainly for women at the moment. She'll tell you more about it. She's going to start to focus on kids next year. So Nat McCarthy.
What a beautiful photo.
Thank you. Well, where do I start? It's when I went to visit G. I was 21 years in the Air Force, and I wanted to change my career to do what I love to do, and I'm doing it, which I'm very proud of. I'm running my own fitness business from home, doing group sessions, and I do about 4 group sessions and training about 10 women and changing their lives for positive. And I'm looking at branching to do Fit Families next year. So I want to pass it on to the family and get the kids moving more and bring their hobbies. So yeah, thanks Max for making it possible.
No, thank you.
Excellent. Now the next young gentleman I'm going to introduce you to is a member of the helpers team, which is the Health, Exercise, Lifestyle Professional Emergency Response Squad. So he's come and joined the ranks. He's out there helping the people, doing great stuff, flying the flag. He's a good friend of mine, and love training him as well. He trains like a weapon. And you'll see that his immense muscularity and stature when he stands up down the red carpet.
Jeannie, do you want to get in a photo?
Make it a bit better.
Woo!
I first got introduced to Max through my sister Jean, who was a superstar there. I came from an accounting background and was always very involved in sport and always wanted to be in the fitness industry. And so my sister said, get in touch with G. So I went in for the big interview. It was very hot that day. Sweated through my feet. But yeah, ended up joining the class last October, and it's been wonderful ever since. Met amazing people here, and finally working with my sister, helping people get fitter and healthier every single day of my life. And yeah, just loving it. Thanks.
Oh, I'm excited to call this next person out. Throughout the history of my experience with Max, there's certain people that come across challenges throughout their program, within their life or their work or whatever's happening. It's always interesting for our team to sit back and see what happens. You know, there's a famous saying, it's not how you play after your last win, but how you play after your last loss that counts. And the next person is a true example of being a champion when he's been knocked down. He's got back up, he's here at graduation. The look on his face when I first saw him today, you know, he's got a big smile. but I thought he was going to need stitches. It was so high. So I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you. But Dan, stretch it up, champ.
Love those guys. They always make me laugh. So Max, I got into that through ex-partner of mine. I work in hospitality and I really dislike it. She's like, why don't you do fitness? I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea, I'll go give it a go. So I applied online. A day later, I think G rang me, came in, had an interview, loved it, and I started a couple of weeks later. And yeah, I really loved the course. All the knowledge that Benny has just pumped into my brain just seemed to have started.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I did have some troubles like through the college. I had to leave and go work a lot more because my expenses rose due to other circumstances in my life. But I got through that and I managed to finally complete the course.
Yeah. Well done, mate.
So proud. Now I'm aiming to start a Australia-wide fitness business, doing group competitive fitness. Get my website done up at the moment, and I'm talking to lawyers to buy a shelf company, and yeah, things are happening.
Dead man.
Excellent. If I can get everyone just to stand up for a tick, please. Just stand up. Right. Just a quick little game. Keep moving around. Like as this, you need a partner for this. So you've got to face off against the buddy there. Oh, it's on. Okay.
I'll have you do
Let's play this very quickly. Rock, scissors, paper. But you use your whole body. Right, so just watch and I'll give you the instructions. Right, Ben's turn.
Yes.
Okay. It goes like this. It goes, if you're going to pick rock, you do this. You go rock. Right. Give me your best rock. Right, yes. Very good. Right, paper, hands low, goes. Scissors up high, goes ching. Two things, mum taught me, don't use the good scissors and don't run with the scissors. Okay? So we got rah, and ching. Okay, now, if you pick scissors and your buddy picks paper, you win the point. Alright? If you pick rock and your buddy picks paper, paper wins the point. And which one haven't I done? Rock, oh, that's right, rock beats scissors. Yeah, is that one? Yeah, that one. Okay. So go back to back, and it goes like this. It goes 1, 2, 3, then you've got to turn around and go right, chin, depending on what you're leaning towards. Okay, you ready? Back to back, and 1, 2, 3. Practice, best of 3. 1, 2, 3. Our next graduate this evening is a young man, a man of solidness, much like the rock that you all just did. He came through the program and he's physically grown a lot. Like when I first met him, he was about this big, that wide. Now he's about that big and about this wide. And the thing I love about him is his nature. You know, like we call it your sparkly bits. What comes off? He's just the gentlest fellow, and he's out there making a big difference. He's a business called Pride Health and Fitness. Put your hands together for Bo. So it touches the chest.
Well done, bro.
Well, I was working 60 hours a week, job I didn't like, sort of feeling sick from it, working so much and hurting myself from all the labour. So I started doing Max, and basically now I'm doing 8 group sessions a week, got 30 ladies training, two guys. And 6 PTs a week, so I'm finding it really rewarding because I've had a few ladies which have lost over 12 kilos now, and just it's not about how they look, it's about inside and how they're feeling, because they're just changing so much and they're not as sick and happy and enjoying life, so it's great.
Well done.
And another thing with Bo's team is commitment. No one greater. He travelled roughly an hour, 2 nights a week, and then a day on the strong end for 6 months to complete this program. So, mate, you deserve everything you get in life. The huge part of Max is what most people will call feedback. We call it feed forward because you're always going forward. And the next gentleman is a master of taking feed forward. And the reason he has grown and developed so much is because of his want to improve and get better. So me looking at him now, in comparison to, say, his first day of class and or second day with the 100 challenge, which is one of our practical activities we do, it's just like looking at a different guy. Same hair, but different guy. Andrew Stone!
Hey, Robbie.
Yeah, that's what
It's an afro. Yeah, so basically as G said, my first week we did this 100 challenge and it was really tough. And I had an event where I couldn't do it, so I went outside and then G came out and basically told me it's not going to kill you, may as well do it. So that really helped a lot, which was awesome. But I first did the course in 2011 and I didn't finish it at the time because I wasn't sure if it was something I wanted to do. But then some stuff happened and I came back this year and got to finish it. When I first started, I did it with Jean, and both times she helped me a ridiculous amount. If I didn't have her to help me, I probably wouldn't have finished it for sure.
Thank you, Jeannie.
JC.
I'd like to give big thanks to Benny here. Benny makes learning very funny, very easy for me. And lots of Arnie comments. I like Arnie. Big thanks to Benny.
The next lady I'd like to introduce you to is graduating tonight. Same thing, you first came into the program. And one of the great things that you see as an educator is that when people enter the program and when they end, is how they change. And that's part of our mission statement, is to positively change people's lives from the inside to the outside. You've got to change what's going on internally in here and in here, so you can change what's going on outside. And big changes, as a lot of people do when they do our program, because there's such great content in there, if applied, will serve you very well. And I'd like you to put your hands together for Karen. Yeah.
There you go, this is yours.
Yay, Karen.
Yay.
Well, yeah, I'm too nervous. I have some family here. I need to really thank them. They've stood by me through a lot of things the last 2 years.
Thank you, family.
Yeah, pretty tough. Lawrence, he doesn't even do fitness. He helped me a lot of late nights, a lot of stuff all over my walls. We did a lot of study. I think you know more about it now.
Thank you,
But,
Lawrence.
yeah, just all my family and friends for coming. And my boss, hello there.
Ah.
Di gave me a start. I only finished this year. Di gave me a start for 3 months. Unfortunately, things didn't eventuate there. But I plan on travelling around Australia next year, and fitness will be everywhere. So let's spread the word.
Go girls.
From a golf club to being one of the leading health exercises lifestyle professionals at Snap Fitness. From a girl with lots of potential to an elegant woman who's now gaining lots of success. Amelia.
I guess the biggest thing for me is when I started at Max, I was a completely different person, and they've completely changed my life, which has now allowed me to change lots of other people's lives for the better, which is really good. Yeah, so thank you very much for everything, and I can't wait to keep improving everyone's lives in the fitness of Australia.
G was mentioning travel before and how Bo used to come up, and we've had, as Phil was sharing, we've had people change countries to come and do the program. The next lovely lady I'd like to introduce you to, she drive down from the sunny coast, come and hang out with us a couple of nights each strong, and on Sparkle Day with her co-pilot, who I saw before, and hang out in the college, pop down to the city, come back, and pick up the lovely Sophie. Sophie's helping with group exercise. She's changed the lives of many, and she's helping a few people with personal training as well, and absolutely loving it. So let's get her up here.
Well done, Sophie.
I'd just like to thank my family for coming. Driving so
Thank
far,
you,
it
family.
was hard. Yes, I went home grumpy at nights from Tuesdays and Thursdays. It was worth it. Very worth it. Thank you to everyone at Max. Thank you, G, for letting me in. Best coach in Betty. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have individuals that just can't wait. So they may start playing in the fitness profession before they start their program, on the student insurance or something like that. But this next lady took it a step further. She opened her business while she was still in the program. So she'll tell you all about it. I don't want to steal the thunder. Very proud of her. Andy!
went to Max, I had a vision, and that was to train brides. And I really went into it for business. You know, I just wanted to. Saw a really good business opportunity, and I just wanted to train brides. That's all I wanted to do. So I went and joined Max, and then I started having to do training on the side to get our prep and stuff. And I started working with a lady at my work who had severe depression. So I started doing personal training, you know, just to get some feedback from her and things. And she completely changed my life because I came from a mental health background where I had family that had really bad depression and who took antidepressants my whole life growing up, and depression didn't do anything, just made it worse, you know, just taking a tablet. And I helped this lady, and her goal was to come off antidepressants so she could have a baby. And we were successful. So she came off the antidepressants, and 6 months later she fell pregnant. That my passion wasn't just rides. Like, I really had a passion for mental health, and I wanted to help women work on the inside to get results on the outside. You know, it wasn't just about, you know, having this image to look good. It was about feeling good on the inside and being proud of who you are, and not taking tablets anymore, you know, not taking the easy way out. So ABC for Brides became ABC for Ladies. And I've had my business now for 1.5 years, do a lot of business marketing with other businesses, but we've been nominated for 2 awards. We got nominated for Telstra Business of the Year Award. Also got nominated for Mary Claire's Inspirational Business Women of Business of the Year Award. Wow. I built a studio at home as well, which is amazing. I get to do stuff at home and help ladies and everything like that. And I also get to work alongside Beth, who was one of my best friends at Max College. And she, thank you. And she also helps me work with these ladies and transform their lives. And yeah, we've done so well, and yeah. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
I was really bad with like reading and writing, and I love writing. And Benny believed in me, and he pushed me so much that I write newsletters every single week now.
Oh.
Yeah.
And without further ado, we'll bring up her co-pilot.
Yes.
So you got lovely Beth.
Beautiful Beth. Your graduation, Kogo. Beautiful, Beth.
Yeah, jump in.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Squashing me, man.
Okay, I'll be short and sweet, but I started my journey at Max. I've been on a weight loss journey myself. I've lost 60 kilos now. During that journey on my, like, you know, it was something that I went through on my own, and went through trainer after trainer. Eventually, after I quit competitive swimming, and sort of was eating like I was training twice a day still, and it caught up with me as it does. So I guess that's where my passion for helping others came from, with, you know, obviously being on a journey on my own, and I wanted to go out and not only share my story, but also, you know, help others, because I've been there, and, you know, I think it helps if you've got someone who's been there and can sort of help you through the journey. And as everyone has said, it's not just a physical journey, it's much more than that. So And as Angie and G and Benny have said, I'm lucky enough to play alongside Angie and help women change their lives, and we have a lot of fun together, and yeah, very, very lucky. So, and that's all thanks to Matt. And yeah, just to tag on to what Angie said, huge, you're absolutely amazing, you're so inspiring, and learning was so easy at Max because, we were, it was always jokes, it was always stimulating. Really? And, I think that made it a lot easier, working full time through Max, to the thought of going to Max after work was never really a core because it was always fun and you got to hang around with great people. So,
Well done.
Pure Heart Fitness. Ooh.
Oh.
How good does that sound? And the reason that the owner of Pure Heart Fitness is completely booked out in the short time she's been operating is because she's all about that heart and giving to her clients, giving more to her clients than what they expect and getting much more back in return very shortly. Let's give it up.
Wow.
That's my rock.
And so good looking.
And so good looking. My journey began when I was probably about 18. I started strength training. I had a real passion for it. I started doing a course online and didn't feel good enough, so I never completed it. So it was kind of a sad story. Life happens. Then a year and a bit ago, I became a circuit coach at Curves and found that I had a real passion for helping women. So when that closed down, I decided I needed to do this for real and start that journey again. Then I started my research. And there's a lot of people out there to give you these qualifications, but only one that actually met my standards. So thank you, Max. You guys pushed me, Benny, pushed me out of my comfort zone, like you would have believed. And my dear, wonderful partner in life, Graham, was there to support me and back me up 100%. So thank you, Graham.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, the gentleman I'm going to introduce you to next, and you've heard a couple of our graduates say that they initially started the program, then they went away, they didn't finish, then they came back, went through again, and that happens. That's why we do what we do. The young gentleman I'm about to introduce you to now, he's not only is he graduating tonight, his father's also done the program as well. The guys are great because they always come in and helping out our students. They're like part of the team, really. Para, Mike and Dave. Let's put our hands together for... Hey, Para, come up here
Come
for a
on.
photo, mate.
Come on, Mikey. Dad, Dad. Woo!
Great genetics, this one.
Oh, what a great photo. Very nice.
where the first time I met Ben, and I thought about the other day because Ben saw me on the rower, and he mentioned something about my car, and the first time I met Ben, I was sitting on a couch at AIF, and he went, "Moo." And I was like, "Why did he do it before?" And he turned around and he said, "Monster calves." I thought about the other day, I know you don't. Then I met G. My dad had already started the course, and I was in a job that I'll get back into that in a second, but a job that I didn't like, and G accepted me even though I wasn't wearing a tie. But I also it was a good day because I actually got to jump straight into a Max Club. I was able to get that going. First time I met K-Man, he took our class, and I think Nixa, he was in my class as well. And I think she might remember this because K-Man did a thing about anatomy, and we were totally hopeless. And he said, "Okay, now get your foot back, now kick. Let's just kick up the bum. You can learn your anatomy." And then I only really met Rowie recently. And Rowie, you've had the most effect on me at the moment. One, we also got that share of animals, but also the first interviews after qualifying, I was at interviews and I was literally the best looking person. I was looking better than the people who were interviewing me. And it got to the back of my head thinking, should I be dressing down? And I knew what she said about don't let people tell you how to think. So just like Gibbs on NCIS, all I could imagine was Rowie coming from behind and giving me a whack across the back of the head.
Thank you,
so that's my experience of those. But, yeah, I was AIF and I went into the fitness industry and I did everything wrong. I didn't know anything about business, so I couldn't keep a client base and that sort of thing. Then the place I was working at went bust. And I went to my mate and I said, he worked at a furniture shop and I was down dispatch, and he said, "Can I give you a job?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I only need something for about 3 months. I stayed there for 3.5 years. So then I did Max in 2011, did all the classes, but didn't finish my assignment. So then I went back to the rut of lifting heavy furniture and this sort of stuff. And then my enough is enough moment was every day I'd get in the car, I had the sound, had the subs in the back, the music was blaring, I was having the time of my life, and as soon as I got to work, all I saw was brown boxes and grey walls. And I just went, nah, I can't do this anymore. And I still put up with it. I did a bit of Max, and I just went, nah, I can't do this anymore, and I concentrated on doing Max. And so now, finally, after my journey's been, 7 years? Since 2006. I actually finally qualified.
There you go, mate.
That's what Max always say about fit. When I was going for these interviews, I knew that wasn't my fit. They just weren't up to the standard that I was up to now. And so now, my dad and I have decided we're going to it's going to start off downstairs. It's under construction. So, Dave Dog Fitness.
Well done, son.
It's only natural that some people get a little bit nervous when they come to their acceptance interview. But for the next guy, I was actually a little bit worried because he came through the door and he was sweating. I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? I said, Dallas, are you okay? He says, oh yeah, I'm okay. The gate at the front was shut, so I had to jump the gate to get in. Didn't want to be late. The gate had shut and he manhandled me. Got over the gate and came through, worked up a little sweat in the process. So that's just a bit of an idea about Dallas. There's an obstacle on the way, he doesn't turn around and walk away, he finds a way to get over it. And Ben wants to tell you a bit more about that.
Dally never really said anything. He was like a ninja. So he did the program and I wasn't sure if he actually spoke. Good thing was when he spoke, people listened. The great thing I had recently was the final practical evaluation I did with Dally. It was fantastic. His W&H questions were mint, so his ability to go through
find out what my goals were. He was asking me great open-ended questions. I asked him a couple of things about what he loved about the program, and and he said he'd grown a lot. He said that also his family had noticed it too, which is always a great thing to hear. And he shared with me he's looking at going down to Sydney next year. He's got an uncle who's in mixed martial arts. He's going to go down there and look at doing some training. So we also just won his grand final yesterday.
Yay!
What a gorgeous group.
I just want to thank Max team for everything. Thank you to my family for supporting me.
No, it's amazing.
I want to thank, special thanks to my mum.
Thanks, my mum.
She's the one of to pay for the course, which I appreciate a lot. Thank you, mum, and yeah, thank you guys.
Very quickly, I taught aerobics for 23 years and one of my most favourite participants ended up emailing the college and saying, I want to come do a course. I want to become a qualified health and lifestyle professional. And she's one of my most favourite people in the whole world. Against all odds, she's a single mum. She's one of the most powerful, driven, focused women I've ever met. She goes the extra mile every single day. And everybody in this room knows that because she's the college coach at Max. She's also become an international fitness business coach at Max. I cannot think of a better person to teach our students how to be the extra mile person they need to be. She's been a gym instructor, she's been an aerobic instructor, she's been in the profession, but now she really is a professional. The college coach at Max in Brisbane, one of the most admired women in my life. She inspires me every day, our new staff.
You'll take a photo and then jump in here as well.
I just have to share something really funny with you guys that Benny's just been whispering in my ear. Some of you might know from attending the college, Benny and G are always constantly asking me to stop beating them in front of the students. Which it's endless laughs with a team like this, and I thank so much for that. Like, the guys get a great big laugh out of it, and I think some of them may even be a little bit scared of me.
because they tell everyone I locked them in cupboards and hid them in the anyway, I come from a background of many varied things. Like Rowie said, starting off in fitness many years ago. I think I was about 18, and lost my way probably a couple of years after that, and also lost my mum and complete focus on life, and sort of jumped from one job to the next. Sorry, as soon as I said the mum word, it just came out. But I knew I always had that passion for fitness, and one person I have to thank today for helping me find that passion in fitness that long time ago is my dad.
Thank you, Dad.
I know Dad probably doesn't realise it, and we're not much for lovey-dovey words very often in my family, but back when I was 18, my dad gave me a gym membership, and it was at Webster's World of Fitness where Rowie was. So I had an amazing opportunity and journey ahead of me that I had no clue about back then. And I just had a massive passion for fitness. I used to turn up to every one of Rowie's classes. They were the best. And she inspired me. I just turned my life around and made me go, wow, I want to be like that. I want to get up in front of people and jump around and you know, tell them to do grapevines and all that stuff that I used to love back then. And it was a wonderful experience. I did my program back then through a completely different organisation. Nothing like Max. My last position before I found Max was, I was building a tunnel actually.
She was a welder.
I was a welder. Yeah. So, like I said, I had many varied positions sort of in that period of time, and that was my my last position was as a leading hand on the Clem 7 project, and it was very demanding of time, and it was demanding on my womanhood because I had to dress in hard hats and high vis. Yeah. And but it was great. It made me money, which was what I was chasing at the time. And when I found Max, it made me realise a lot of things, that you don't need money to be happy if you're doing what you love. If you're doing what you love, that is everything, and the money just follows. That's something Max taught me. I want to thank, so many things I want to say. I want to thank my beautiful family, my brother over there with the camera.
Thank you, brother.
Say behind him, those guys, if it wasn't for them being around all the time, it would be near impossible for a single mum to have a wonderful career like I had with Max, and to be able to meet all you guys and have fun with you every day and have fun with my team. That means everything to me. So thank you guys. Thank you, Roxy. My daughter, my little girl here today, the one that keeps me going. She looks amazing, thanks to Roxy. She did the hair, so thank you. These guys here, incredible. Rowie for being my style and sophistication guru, for teaching me that every day is a special occasion and a day to wear your really nice undies. That was a gold nugget for me. So throw out the daggy undies, because every day's a special occasion, everyone. Came in, shared some words with me just last year. There is no try, just do. So thanks, Yoda, for I carry those with me everywhere. Benny, my awesome coach throughout the program. I did the program back in 2011, so this day has been a long time coming. And I'd like to thank him for everything he taught me, getting rid of the ants. For those of you that don't know what ants is, quickly, it's automatic negative thoughts. Benny taught me how to get rid of them and be a superb mum and just be awesome in everything I do. Because I used to introduce myself. Benny called me out once telling someone I'm just a stay-at-home mum. And he said, it's not that you're a stay-at-home mum, it's those two words you threw in front of it. You're not just a, you're not just anything, you're awesome, and you need to start thinking that way.
Thank you, Benny.
Thanks, Benny. G, I had a massive moment with him when I was a student where he kicked my ass for communication, and I thank him every day for that. Yeah. He's always that person who gives you that hard feedback that no one else wants to give, so I'm eternally grateful for that. And for the rest of the team, Sparkly, who's not here. Yeah. She looked after us guys when we started the program, and she was incredible. She was actually in the role that I'm in now, and I had big shoes to fill when I started at college, so she's an incredible lady. And Tommy and everyone I get to play with at Max, Maddie down in Melbourne. The opportunities that Max has opened up to me are just endless, and I could go on all day, but I'm not going to. I know you're all having a big day, so to you guys, the graduates, most of you have been my awesome students that I've helped get to the end of your programs, and I know a lot of you, like me, didn't always have feel you had the confidence to make it through, but I can't believe you're all sitting here today with your caps and gowns on, and that's incredible. And congratulations to you all, because I know through losing a parent, becoming a mum, that you guys are changing lives for the better for people. And you might think you're just training one person, but you're changing the health and fitness of their whole family, I swear to God, because you guys are reaching much further than you can ever imagine. To have a healthy, fit and strong parent is one of the biggest things you could ever want. And I know that from the loss of a parent. I know that I want to be that for my little girl. And my beautiful friend Jeannie, I know she wants to be that for her little girl. And thanks, Jeannie, you've always been an awesome role model and friend, so thank you. And I think I've said it all, so keep going, guys.
Can everybody stand up? First thing in the morning, you can't just jump out of bed, you've got to jump out of bed with energy, enthusiasm, excitement, and you sing this little song, goes like this. I feel good, na 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 na, I knew that I would now, na 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 na, so good, yeah, you know the words. It's the ultimate positive song you could ever sing. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I feel good, na 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 na, I knew that I would now, na 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 na, so good, yeah, so good, Alright, have a seat. We have 3 special things to do before we go. 5% of people will not go to a fitness facility. In fact, 5% of people will not go to any business if it's dirty. Some people don't notice that things are dirty. One of my new students, Trippy, came in today and she saw that there was a dead balloon up in the roof there. Now, most people didn't notice that, but she did. It would be one of the reasons why some people don't come to a facility. So at Max, we teach people, having managed health clubs nearly all of my life, to see people leave a health club because it wasn't kept clean, which means they could end up with coronary heart disease or type 2 diabetes because the floor was dirty. That can't happen. So Max, we have this thing called Power Clean. You can't leave at the end of the day until the college is clean. Some people do it because they have to. Some people do it because that's just who they are. They would never let anybody leave their business if it was dirty. This lady now has her own business. She is our power cleaner for 2013. Karen! Now, I always look out for the person who's going to be just like me and keep the place really clean. And next I said it's her. She's
Definitely.
She's amazing. Thank you so much.
And my gym is clean.
Of course.
Thanks, Karen.
We had an interesting challenge today. The profession of fitness, and I've been doing this since I was 13. I'm obviously a lot older than 13. I used to run around with my ass cheeks hanging out, my boobies hanging out, my biceps hanging out, and wondered why people didn't take me seriously. I had the privilege one time of speaking at a medical conference, and the head of cardiology at the Mater Hospital in Brisbane said to me, "I love your industry, you dress like strippers." Made me realise if we wanted to be taken seriously, we have the answer to coronary heart disease. Everyone in this room here that is now educated knows how to get rid of coronary heart disease. Yet the head of cardiology thinks we dress like strippers. So everybody today, when you walked in here today, you judged everybody by the way we look. Everybody in this room judged everybody else by the way we look. He made it, we all do it, it's called human nature. So I understood now the power of, if we dress like professional people, we might get taken seriously like professional people. And if you've got all your bits and pieces hanging out, the poor blokes, where they're supposed to look with your boobies hanging out, they can only look at your boobies, there's nowhere else to look. Guilty. So every 7 days in the Max College we have a special award given to the most professionally presented fitness professional. And you can wear a suit or you can really wear a suit. And these next two people I couldn't pick because they're the most beautifully dressed people I've ever had in the college. And for the first person particularly, blokes are good at suits. You do good suits well, but often with women we can't get it together right. This girl doesn't just get it together. She's the most professionally presented woman I've ever seen. Nicola, I'm so proud to be
Wow. Thank you so much. It's been such a trip coming from, as I said, public service where you're not judged on anything whatsoever, and then coming into a fitness college where it's got a certain standard. And I have to admit, like slipping on a suit, you just feel different, and it felt so great slipping it on today. And you remember how important it is to look professional, because that's how you feel from the inside out. It affects how you feel from the inside out. So here I am.
I think the next person knows. I would pick this again. The next person must know this, because it's not how you dress or what you do when people are watching. It's what you do when nobody's watching. That's who you really are. And this young man, there's 2 times I've caught him where he doesn't even know, where I've caught him out in the general public. And once was a friend of mine who called me specifically and she said, "I saw one of your students today in Brisbane and I have never seen a more beautifully dressed man." Our most professionally presented male, which we've never done to before, is young Des.
Come from a very strict background, so it's always a prerequisite for me. And being around those guys, that's how I keep up with G. And all these lovely looking people, so thank you very much.
Every 7 days, these people get to nominate who is the most outstanding person in their class. They nominate directly to me, and then the team chooses who is living up to and exceeding the standards of a professional organisation, not of Max. Most people think, oh, this is a Max standard. No, this is about the profession. This is about how can we stand out from the rest of the crowd so that you are the best at what you do. So the nominations for these people haven't come from just the Max team. Yes, the Max team nominates and votes for this too, but it's come from this group of people who've said every week in, week out, we say strong, every strong in, strong out, who are the most excellent at what they do. However, to win this award for the next 12 months, it's not about what you did while you're at Max. It's what you do after you leave Max. And these two people, again, we couldn't choose. It was too hard to choose, so we didn't. We just became an and organisation. Not only are these people doing, but one of the ladies I want to share with you, I went to a very big financial planning conference on the Gold Coast, and one of the ladies, after I had my corporate chat, came up to me and she said, I trained with one of your students and she has changed my life. She's the most professional young woman that I've ever met, and she has changed my life. So young, happy Kaylee, you are. And one of these.
Hang that in the wall.
Wow. And one of these.
Thank you. Sorry I got so emotional before when I had a chance to speak, but I'm actually glad I've got a second opportunity to speak and thank everybody. Julie, who did meet Rowie that night, is here today, as well as another very special client of mine. Julie, can you stand up? And also Nicole, if you could just stand up as well. So these two ladies are here. Within the studio that I have, Empowered for Life, I run a system called the Lean Mama System, and Julie came to me through that, and she's now training with me 4 times a week, and we have the most amazing time. And Nicole has trusted me with her life, really. When Nicole came to me, she just turned 30 and was looking at some pretty scary stats from the doctor, and we beautifully now saved her life, and she's just recently done a 5K fun run, and I'm so grateful to be able to help other people change their lives in this way, because I managed to do it for myself, and helping other people in this way is so powerful. And thank you, Rowie, for giving me that. And Ben, I don't even know what to say to you. Everybody's inspired by Ben at the studio. Max, but I left there one night on a Thursday night and said, I'm going off for my 10-year high school reunion. I can't even remember what he said, but he made me leave that room feeling like I was the tallest person in the world, and I was going to go and rock it at that reunion. And I did, and I came running back the next day, and he was there. He's like, how'd you go? And I'm like, I killed it! And just the warmth that they've embraced me with at Max, and Jeannie, who has every single week from the day we met been there, and how you doing, Hayley? Let's keep on track, and has changed my life, and will continue to do so. So thank you to everybody for everything you've done for me. I'm very proud to be a Max graduate.
Well.
Some people do, some people say they're going to do, some people say nothing and just go and do. I said, how are you going? She said, I've opened my studio. My name's Karen. I own a health and fitness personal training studio that was never going to happen. It's there, it's open, it's got clients, and you are amazing, and you are our other. Wow.
Casper loves it.
Can I to say? Wow. This is amazing. Look.
It's not red though, Casper.
Your Heart Fitness came from a very amazing place. The name Karen means pure. And I love red. And my target audience is the elderly, the old people, the generation that has lots of injuries. Because I've had a lot of injuries. And it takes a lot and a big heart to get through it all. I have some amazing clients that are actually starting to kick goals now. You know, training people from age 16 to 68. They're amazing. I love it. I love it. This is the best thing I've ever done in my life. Thank you guys. Thanks Benny for pushing me out of my comfort zone. You rock. Thanks Jeannie. Thanks so much, you know. You're just amazing, you guys. Thank you. I love Thank you, Rowie, for inspiring me.
Ladies, open a studio. It's amazing.
Yeah,
What's really funny about tonight, to finish off, is that everybody said in 1989 that who on earth would have a personal trainer? No one's going to have a personal trainer. It's for Americans and it's for elite athletes. However, in this room, as you will have gathered, there are some people who don't believe in the impossible. It's just somebody else's opinion. So the founder initially of Max decided that he needed to be a personal trainer because he wanted to help people to be healthy, fit and strong. He became so successful at personal training that he needed to train other people to become personal trainers. Julie, if I could just, I'm going to paraphrase the story you told me about you said to your husband, I'm going to start going, was it twice a week to personal training? Because if you want a happy wife, she has to go to personal training twice. So now people, it's become part of people's lives to have a coach to help them to be healthy, fit and strong. But that's because this one person, the only reason we're all here, was this one person said, we're going to open the very best educational facility for personal trainers and fitness professionals in Australia, and we're going to create the best people in the world to make the world healthy, fit and strong. He's the founder back in 1989. It was originally called Sports Elite, it then became National College of Fitness. We did this Australian Institute of Fitness Queensland. It's now Max, which is this private, prestigious business college. His name's Kerry McAvoy. We call him K-Man.
Yes.
Future of the fitness profession.
Yes.
Looking pretty good, I reckon. What do you think?
Yes.
Back in 1989, if I was in the graduation, I'd be wearing my little brother's t-shirt, little short shorts to show off my magnificent legs. Women will wear G-strings on the outside of their clothes. Certainly come a long way. There are times in your life that redirect your life. Sometimes they get redirected by events which are not so good, and sometimes they get redirected by times when you think, I want something better. I was very fortunate that the best piece of advice I received is from my Uncle Alan. It wasn't really my Uncle Alan, he's just a close friend of the family. I was 17 years of age, what am I going to do with the rest of my life leaving school? Nothing really seemed to appeal to me. My father wanted me to become a computer programmer. I didn't know what computers were. The size of this room, and I only in NASA. So I didn't know what it was. And my mother wanted me to become a doctor, and I didn't think I was smart enough. I didn't want to hang out with sick people. That didn't really appeal to me. But my Uncle Alan said, Kerry, do something that you love, and you never have to work another day in your life. And that made a lot of sense to me. So I thought, the only thing I really love is health and fitness and sport. The industry back then, there wasn't much of an industry. My first gym I worked out was called Bob's Gym. It was a bodybuilding gym, and that's what the industry was. However, if you do what you love and you work out how to make a living out of it, and you do everything for the right reason, then you're going to have a pretty right life. Whether you get rich or not, or whatever it may be, as long as you do what you love, you're going to turn out pretty damn good. And that was 31 years ago. In that time, there's many decisions to be made about what you want to do. But my suggestion for everyone here is that when you come across that fork in the road, is there's always two things you can do. You can do the easy thing, or you can do the right thing for you. Most people do the easy thing. Stay in the job which they hate, but they get paid money to give them security. I'll call those people prostitutes. Because their life is for sale. If you do a job for the money, then you just sold out. Do something which you would do if you weren't going to get paid for it. Then you're going to love every minute of every single day. And I know everyone here has made that decision where you had to, the easy part was keep living the life you're living, in the comfort zone, security zone, money being paid to stay there, and you, whatever reason it was, I'm sure it was like, no more, I'm going to do this. And to do that takes a massive amount of courage. I was fortunate that I got into that habit at 17, so I didn't know anything different. I didn't have money at 17, so what can't miss it if I never have it. But to make that decision, you're going to have to sacrifice what you got to get what you want. Most people, they live a life of they're a monkey. A monkey hanging on the vine of the past, and they hang on to the vine of the future. But they're too scared to let go of the vine of the past. Therefore, they just hang out for the rest of their life doing nothing. Getting sore arms, and the pain slowly grows and grows, and before you know it, you think it's too late. But to swing into your future, into what you love, or your passion, or your purpose, whatever you want to call it, you've got to let go. And when you're swinging that vine, then you've got to grab another one to the direction you want to go, you've got to let go of that. And in this journey, you're going to have many transformations in your life. I've had 13 businesses in the fitness profession. Max has been 4 different names. If it was still sports elite, it's been pretty average. But I wanted to make it better. And because it became better, I had to change the name of it because the name didn't reflect what it was anymore. And then I changed the name again, and we changed the name again. And in that change, transformation of growth that serves my values, that constant improvement, and you change it for the right reason, you're living by your purpose, not by someone else's checkbook, then you start to attract great people into your life. One of those great people is my partner, Ro, who's, again, taken, back then was the National College of Fitness, taken from that to that. Now you've got double the people. It's like a vision on steroids, It's like 2 people driving forward, and then you attract Be Huge, has been with us for, I think, 75 years.
Looks good, though.
I was frozen in carbonite next to Han Solo many years ago.
Be Huge is first, when we decided to bring Be Huge on the team, we thought we'll see if he can train people, see if he's any good at training. So Rory organised a PT session with him. This is where Be Huge was at his stage of his life. He was hanging out with strippers at the time. Right?
Pretty good time, that.
Be Huge shows up to train Rory for the first session, still drunk from the night before. Little torn t-shirt, no shoes.
Had no shoes. They're actually my friend's clothes. I ended up naked somewhere where I shouldn't have been.
So, obviously, first impression wasn't good. However, he showed up early. He'd rather show up not being perfect than not show up at all. So he said, okay, maybe there's some hope here. Maybe we can help transform him into a better Huge. And yes, he's an incredible human being, an incredible man, as you all know. But the point being is that then you continue to attract, you keep lifting your standards, you attract people who want to raise them again. Now we've got the G. It was hard to find, but we found it. But he came, he's been here for eight years or so, and Nick Starr is just amazing. Seeing her grow. And I think I said to Philip, you know, the finish line is the next starting line. And at the end of every day is the last day of your previous lives, and the start of every day is the first day of the rest of your life. The question is, where's it going? Is it going where you want to go? Has today added to tomorrow, and in that served other people, helped add value to other people and you? And ask yourself, how can I get better every day? And you express that through what you do. Max is who I am, and Max is who Rowie is. It's not what I do, it's what I am. It's just a reflection of my values. And that way you never work, because it's just like your own child. You're constantly thinking about it. You constantly have, you know, sleepovers. People want to come over and hang out and grow and learn. And may you go and create an environment where you're attracting great people into your life. But to do that, you have to become greater. You can't be average and expect to attract great people. You can't be, if you want to run fast, you can't join a walking club. You've got to draw that attention by upping the standards, upping the pressure on yourself. Pressure in the right direction. Pressure in the wrong direction will lead you to frustration. Pressure in the right direction towards your goals will lead you to excitement. You find it hard to sleep. There's only two things that may stop you or hinder you from becoming as successful as you like, and everyone measures success in their own way, is your possible lack of self-belief in yourself. Sometimes you probably think, will this work for you? Will it work? Don't even think about that. Just think about the purpose of why you're doing it. Then you stop to think about whether you're going to win or lose, because you always will if you're doing what you love. If you lack that little bit of belief, then sometimes you have to believe in other people who have belief in you. Savvy believe in you. Constant belief. Until you got enough belief in yourself. And look around, you've got the great self-influence of people helping you, like Luke mentoring you, helps you. Hang out with great people. Go where the expectations are high. If you want to run faster, run fast. Join a club with faster runners. But ultimately, you know, your success, you'll never be lonely, but most of it is when you're alone. Most of the stuff you do is when you're alone. And what drives you through those times is your vision, your purpose, your values, why you're doing what you're doing, the people that you're helping. Because here's the ultimate question is if whether you're serving is of value is, if I don't do it, who will do it? If I don't do it, who will do it? And if the answer is no one, then you've got to do it. I watched a great movie the other day called Jobs. That's Steve Jobs and Apple. It's a great movie because the guy was just so, people would call him, you know, fanatical or over the top. No, he's just living for something. He has something that he expresses through his business. It's no work, it's just what he does, who he is. So your belief will grow when you surround yourself with the right people. The other reason you may falter is because you're just hanging out with the wrong people. They're not right or wrong, they're just different. If you're joined a sitting club and you want to run, then you're not going very far. You've got to hang out with people who are going places. Your circle of influence really affect your direction. So surround yourself with great people and attract great people. And sometimes you may have to sack yourself from other people's teams, which may be mediocre in your standards. So I'm very proud of you, and I look forward to seeing your future. As you know, we have very high standards here at Max, and those standards keep raising every year. Why? Because we're getting better every year. We have higher expectations every year. Because things should always get better. It's called growth. It's one of the human needs. And for you, if you can take on that philosophy and set your standards, some of you, I know, will lower the standards. That's okay. At least you know what a high standard is now. If things aren't going so well, then you say, well, how's my standards? Do I dress for who I am, or do I dress for what other people expect? Do I dress down or dress up? Do I stand up or sit down? Because one of the things of success is you will stand out. When you stand out, you draw criticism and cynicism from the people who are not standing. But you draw admiration and respect from the right people. People say, hey, right, they're standing for something. Maybe different to me, but they're standing for it and they're fighting for it. Because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. So some of you will maintain the standards, but the ones I'm looking for, these are the future pioneers of this profession. Future superstars are the ones who raise the standard, who blow it out of the, no matter what other people think. Because they know what other people think of them is none of their business, and they don't care. The only thing they care about is what they think about themselves. They understand that they'd rather have the world against them than them against them. Because ultimately your life is lived in the ocean of your own thoughts. You live alone in your own thoughts. And what you do, if it's for the right reason, serves your values, then those thoughts are always going to be positive, no matter what other people think. So I look forward to seeing the best of you. But more importantly, I hope that you look forward to seeing the best of you. Because what I think is really should have been none of your business. So go and get them. Well done, team.